Hello, Void. So, I had a chance to keep going on my Nightmare on Elm Street collection. So, I moved on to, admittedly, one I watch it as an obligation watch, usually if I'm going through the series, which is Nightmare on Elm Street 2 Freddy's Revenge. Now, I won't say I dislike this movie, but it is sort of the black sheep of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I mean, it's not a bad entry, not like some of the later ones, but it has its problems. I can respect it for trying to do something different, but it broke too many of the rules from the first one for it to really feel like it properly fits in. There was a lot going for it, but they sort of missed the mark on a couple areas, and it just doesn't add up enough for me. That said, Robert Englund's performance, still very good. The lead actor who plays the main character, who is pretty much one of the first male scream queens, does very well. So there's a lot of things that do work about this movie. And even the plot itself can work. But it definitely needed another pass in the writing department before we got before it would be a proper nightmare film. So, this one follows, what was his name? Jesse. As he's essentially newer at school, they've just moved into Nancy's old house from the first one. It doesn't really tell us how long this has been after what happened before, but it's probably been at least a year. Now, he's already having some bad dreams. And his house is really, there's some problems with the heat. It's burning up in there. And strange things are happening about his place. They only get stranger when the man in his nightmares keeps luring him closer and pretty much tells him that he wants Jesse to kill for him. And Freddy essentially possesses Jesse to use him to attack people in the real world. Now, all that is fine. I can work with a lot of that. But the problem for me is, so a lot of the supernatural killings are happening in the real world, which, how are they happening in the real world? That's doesn't make sense in the context of what we established in the first film. The first film, Freddy could do all these strange dream powers because it was a dream. But which he does it in a dream once or twice here, but usually he's going through Jesse to attack things in the waking world. Which, I mean, if they were trying to do this thing where Jesse was envisioning Freddy doing it, and he was the one actually doing the killing, like they seem to almost hint at, because every time there's a killing, he's there with a glove, that could have worked. But, for example, the first real victim is the asshole coach. And then, so Jesse just happens to be there. Now, he doesn't even really fall asleep. He's taking a shower at the time. And then just things in the locker room just suddenly start coming alive and attacking the coach. How is Freddy manipulating things outside of the dream? He can do it in the dream world because it's a dream. This is now reality. So Coach gets attacked by animate jump ropes after a bunch of balls fly around hitting him, drag him and string him up. Then some towels fly across, whip him, and then before finally the slashing happens. How did that all happen? It just shows Jesse covered in blood. Was Jesse dreaming all that? Doesn't look like it because all that stuff is still thrown about. So, not sure. I mean, the next killing could be a killing later could make more sense when he attacks his friend Grady, where pretty much Freddy cuts his way out of Jesse. Very evocative. But then, if they had just left that as a metaphor and had Grady still seeing, Jesse attacking him, that could have been it worked. But they don't really imply that that's happening, as he pretty much sees the transformation. Also, when Freddy gets loose at the pool party, he's boiling the pool a bunch of things are going crazy as he's running around attacking people. It's... How is this happening? And that's where this kind of film falls apart. I mean, then it's up to Jesse's would-be girlfriend to try to reach out and pull Jesse back out of Freddy. So, that part, again, could have worked, but where she's going through this weird version of the boiler room where there's human-faced dogs laying around, it's like, if this was a dream, sure, if she had to go into the dream to get him, that would have worked. I wouldn't have complained. This is all happening in the real world. So, Nightmare 2 just doesn't add up on too many levels. The first time I saw it, I didn't think anything of it, but I was, like what I said in my last review, when I first saw the Nightmare series, I was like 5th, 6th grade. Maybe, I don't think I was quite 7th yet. And I watched most of these. So, I just didn't really think anything of it, and every so often, this one, something just seemed off, and I just couldn't quite place it, and now I think I finally got it all down. Another issue, the title, Freddy's Revenge. Is there a more generic title we could have come up with? I mean, they don't even specifically mention his vengeance. In this case, he's just trying to get a body so he can go kill random people, rather than actually revenging himself. Robert Englund has even said this is his least favorite of the Nightmare series, and I can see why. There's a lot of talk about this one also being a lot of metaphor for, like, being in the closet, some homoeroticisms in there, and there's a lot of subtext. And that, for me, is not a problem. That all can work, and it does, for the most part, work pretty well. The guy who played Jesse actually said he viewed Jesse as a closeted gay man. Which, I can see that in the performance. That does make sense to me. Particularly every time he tries getting close with a girl, he gets a little uncomfortable, and then out comes Freddy. Okay, yeah, I'm on board here. Also, the weird chemistry between him and Freddy makes it seem like an uncomfortable gay relationship. Okay, I'm on board again. But it's everything else that just makes us fall short. So, I mean, I will say I like this one better than part 6. And probably even better than part 5. But, like I said, I consider this one the black sheep of the Nightmare family. Because it's doing its own thing, and the thing it's doing isn't necessarily bad. It's just doesn't fit in with the rest. I'll give it 4 MacGuffins. Major step down from the glowing review I give the original, but 4 is really where this one belongs. But this, like I said, this is an obligation watch, because whenever I watch the series, I do try to watch it in order. So now that we're over that one, next time I can get on to Dream Warriors, and I love Dream Warriors. So, looking forward to that. So, I think that's all I have to say on this one. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, 1985. 4 MacGuffins. I guess I didn't really comment on the effects. They're good. It's a Nightmare film. The practical effects are still great. Yeah, I think that was the only thing I didn't say. But, ta-ta, Void.